This week for Mexican Mondays, I'm going to be making Spanish rice. This rice is probably my favorite recipe out of all the ones that I have tried and have tasted. First, you're going to need long grain white rice or basmati rice. Then chicken bouillon. Sorry people, this is not vegan friendly. You can try using a vegetable bouillon or some type of vegetable broth to give it flavor. However, this is what gives the rice its flavor. You will also need some Roma tomatoes, anywhere between 2 and 3. As you can see, these Roma tomatoes are ginormous, so all I need is 2. And then some cilantro, probably about a quarter cup of its leaves and stems. If you have any questions or you keep running into some type of issue with this rice, please leave a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Or just leave a really nice comment. That would be cool. And make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And then tell all your friends about this. It would be awesome. First things first, you gotta make the tomato sauce. First, you just take a regular old tomato, cut it in half. I've noticed that if you don't chop up the tomato a little bit more to give it some help, it's just gonna be big chunks of tomato. You want to put seeds and all in it, doesn't matter. So just kind of roughly chop it up so it blends easier. And when I say a little bit of water, I mean like a little bit of water, maybe like 2 or 3 tablespoons, not too much. Cap this bad boy away. If you have a cheap food processor like me, you're definitely gonna have like at least a little bit of the skin, so just take it out and then you're good right there. Next, you will add some cilantro, the rest of the half a tomato, and then 3 cloves of garlic. Beauty of it is you don't have to cut it, you just need to peel it, throw it in there. And depending on how big the tomatoes are, it's supposed to be half a tomato to make the tomato paste with 2 or 3 tablespoons of water, and then 2 tomatoes afterwards. These are really, really big. So I'm just gonna use the half that I've already cut, and then I am going to use 1 whole tomato. You don't have to add salt or anything to it. You do that while the rice is cooking. And then so you're gonna want it pureed. Smells like tomatoes and garlic. Here comes the fun part. I'm very particular about the pan I use for my rice. So you're gonna wanna use a deep saucepan. You don't wanna use like anything flat. You wanna use something deep. For example, something like Teflon, non-stick. See how shallow it is? Don't mind the dent. My daughter dropped my favorite egg pan on the ground. Something like this wouldn't be ideal to make rice. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't risk it. However, this is the ultimate rice pan. As you can see, it's really deep, it has a short circumference, and then you need a lid that matches it. So the first thing you do is you add some oil. You don't want to put too much, but I probably put too much. Oops. Oh no, that's fine. You want to be able to coat the entire bottom and some of the edges. See how it was smoking? That means it's too hot. You're going to want it to cool down a bit. I'm using olive oil. I typically cook with peanut oil because peanut oil or avocado oil has a higher smoke point. But I'm going to let the oil cool a little bit before I throw the rice in. So you're going to want a cup of rice. And you're gonna cook it until it is brown. You see how it's starting to brown a little bit? Like right there and right there. That means it is time. Oh, there we go, right there. So now you're gonna pour in a half a cup, oh, it's upside down, but a half a cup of the tomato paste. Spread it all around. Make sure to get it all coated. Pour in 2 cups of water. And make sure to get all the rice covered and evenly distributed in the saucepan. Now you're gonna wanna add the chicken bouillon. You use about half a tablespoon. It depends on how much flavor you want, but usually about half a tablespoon will work. You go ahead and take that, sprinkle that on in there, stir it around so it gets everywhere and the flavor gets absorbed. All right, now that it's up to a boil, you cover it and then turn it down. For me, I have to put this on a 2, and you're gonna have to kind of have a trial and error sort of thing with your stove. You could put frozen carrot, green bean, and corn in there, just a little bit, to make it really authentic. However, I forgot to buy a frozen bag, nor do I really care, but that's optional. You want to put the rice between 13 to 15 minutes, but the rice in total takes about 20 minutes to cook. But you got to really watch that heat because it's going to burn the bottom of the pan and it's going to burn the rice. All right, you see how hard it's boiling right now? I would say that means it is a little bit too hot. So if it's boiling that hard, kind of turn the temperature or the flame down, or if you're using an electric stove, God bless your soul, turn it down a little bit. You see how soft that boil is now? It's perfect. And I got about 7 minutes to come back and babysit it again. All right, 15-minute timer is up. Go ahead and check your rice to see where it's at. What you're gonna be looking for is how much water there is in this. If you see that it looks really dry, then you probably would wanna add like a tablespoon of water. However, you can see here that there is still a lot of moisture in it. I have mine at like a low medium heat. So at this point, you can see how right there it's starting to stick. At this point, I'm actually gonna turn it off and then put the lid back on, move it off the heat so it doesn't burn anymore, and then just let it sit. When it's done, take a fork and just fluff it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. It's definitely my favorite. Thanks for taking your time to watch this.